Hey, what's up, dudes? Matthew Bellman, Ryan Kostrowski here to do a little sports betting talk for the day in regards to the NBA. Just to reiterate to people, two channels. You're already subscribed to this one more than likely. If you aren't, go subscribe to it. There's a link down there below to the other backup channel. We're going to be moving sports betting over to that one. Videos will be up on both channels for right now. We just wanted to spend about a week over here talking about it, so it gives many of you guys the opportunity to subscribe to that channel, where we will do sports betting full time. And that way, if we do have to deal with the YouTube ban again, we got a lot of you guys over there already, so we're not missing out.
Hopefully we don't, but again, I think it could be a good thing for us. We got both channels booming. Let's get this.
All right, so let's cross out of here and look at what you're talking about for the night. So, Mr. Bellman, tell me what you are thinking. Obviously, we're coming off the L last night. We both like the Rockets and Timberwolves to cover the overall point total. It wasn't even close. That was just a pathetic performance by the offenses in that game.
No, and the funny thing is, and I was thinking about this, I originally told you I liked the Bulls to win. They won. Then I looked into it a little bit too much. I didn't like it as much. And I liked Brooklyn, and that was the play I bet. And I just, after LeBron was in, I didn't like it as much. But they actually won that game anyway. So impressive win by them.
So let's step it back for a second and talk about the Nets and the Lakers, because you probably wouldn't believe that, but I was with you on that one. And the reason being, and I'm guessing where you're going with that one, is after just a monster weekend of playing the Bucks and the Clippers and winning those, just an emotional letdown spot.
Yeah, definitely, especially because they play Houston on Thursday as well.
Gotcha. And that makes sense to me. That's definitely something you look at a lot that you've gotten me kind of considering from time to time. And it was an emotional letdown spot for the Lakers, so I was not surprised they lost that game.
Little preview into tomorrow, and I don't even know a line or anything. But I know that that Houston plays at the Lakers tomorrow. And I like Houston a lot in that game. The NBA is, the NBA, it changes every day. So the Lakers look like the world beaters over the weekend. I think it's, hold on a minute, it's tomorrow night. But until then, we have kind of excuse my French, shitty slate tonight. Nothing.
I was rolling my eyes over social media over the weekend when all of a sudden everybody's like, the Lakers are the prohibitive favorite. And I'm like, I'm good with that take because clearly they have LeBron and they're the Lakers and they're very good. But come on now. Like, the Bucks and Clippers beat them the 3 games before that this year. Like, let's not pretend like one weekend changes everything. But people are so quick to overreact.
Agreed.
All right, so to tonight.
So, again, nothing I love. But I do have this late game circled. Again, I told you I leaned Sacramento. It's not like a strong love type situation. But I like the Kings here. Get up spot for them on national TV, home game against a New Orleans team that's getting just all the love from the public. 83% of the bets are on New Orleans here, who's, gets a ton of love now with Zion there. And I get that. New Orleans is a slightly better team. But the line is really small for a reason. I like the Kings in this spot. They actually same exact record. So there you go. The fact that New Orleans is a slight road favorite just shows you how much love the public gives Zion. So what's your take on this game?
So I wanted to look at their road to home splits, and it's kind of unusual. The Kings are basically the exact same road to home, and the Pelicans have been slightly better on the road this year. Nothing major. Like, I wouldn't just look at this and be like, oh, it's definitely working one way or the other because of that. But you don't normally find splits that similar, and it's kind of a weird coincidence they line up against one another.
It really is.
So we'll take it as a statistical anomaly. I don't have, like I said, when we started doing this, you're the sports bettor. Obviously, I consider myself an expert on the NBA. But as far as this game goes, support, think you're wrong, or abstain, I'd probably abstain. I don't have a good feeling on this game one way or the other. I realize the line is 1.5 for a reason because it should be a darn close game in my opinion. So it's not one I would feel comfortable putting my money on one way or the other.
I like the home team in this spot. I think they find a way to get it done in a huge game. Again, it should be a really close game, a game that we obviously like for DFS purposes. So it is my favorite game of the night.
Kings 7-3 over their last 10 games. And remember how bad Sacramento was to start the year. So both of these teams have really climbed into more of a mediocre type of situation where they both played very poor to start the season. The Kings were definitely one of my letdowns this year. But if you've watched them post the first month and a half, they've been significantly better.
I like what the Kings got going. We both do. Definitely hurts them that Bagley is who knows, because he's good, but he never plays.
Yeah, the Western Conference. So everybody always talks about how the West is so much better than the East, which isn't the case anymore if you look at the top teams. But my lord, is the bottom rung of the West so significantly better than the East?
Yeah, like all those teams in the West would be like the eighth seed in the East, except for Minnesota and Golden State.
Yeah, who are pathetic. I agree. I think Phoenix, San Antonio, Sacramento, New Orleans, Portland, Memphis, they all find a way into a very minimum the 7th seed.
Very minimum. They're all like on the same level, if not better than Brooklyn.
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly. So, all right, guys, that's what we got for this evening. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. We have a lot of sales up right now. If you wanted to hear about those, $100 rebate on lifetime, $20 rebate on monthly customers. Sign up to be a new monthly customer today. You get 2/3 of your first month back. A lot of that stuff was all up via the website. Was there anything else you're tinkering with or thinking about from a sports betting aspect this evening outside of Sacramento on this game?
There's a ton of college games, so I'm looking at that. I know that that's not really your forte, so
But is there something, a hot take you want to give the people?
no, nothing specifically. There's just conference tournaments they've started. So like as the days goes on, there's going to be a ton of games today, tomorrow, Friday. You know, the NCAA tournament starts next week. So conference tournaments are this week.
So again, another side note on that, and this is something that we brought up earlier this week that I feel like is a good idea to reiterate, and something I know you do a good job of usually. I try to do it, but not as much as you probably do. This is not a game you feel very comfortable with. So as far as how much money you put into a situation like this, don't just overspend because you need the action. There's a new slate tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I guess you have to ask me if I had to have one other team I like. Now, I don't like betting favorites, so it's not really a game I would touch. But I do think Miami rolls tonight. I think that, they were down big at the beginning of the fourth quarter against Washington, came back and put that game away. Charlotte has been real good lately, for Charlotte standards. They're coming off a real tough loss, man. Double OT in Atlanta. Now they face a much better Miami team that wants wins. I could see this game getting ugly.
Okay. So you think Miami is going to cover the 10.5?
I do. Like if I had to pick a side, I'd pick Miami.
And you rarely bet teams to cover double-digit spreads. Rarely, right?
And I probably won't do it tonight, but if I had to pick a side, I'd pick Miami.
Okay. Is that changing at all if Butler and anybody else are out?
No.
Okay. Because you kind of expect them not to be out. I get that. Charlotte's not very good, and they've definitely had some games this year where they don't even look like they belong in the NBA, and I can see why you would think that tonight against a Miami team that's still desperate for wins as they try to jockey for playoff seeding within the Eastern Conference.
I'm impressed by how Charlotte's played, but I mean, they're due for a comeback down to earth type of game, in my eyes at least.
I get that. What do you think happens in Dallas now that we know that there's no Curry and there's no Porzingis tonight?
I think that Denver wins. I think that Dallas doesn't look great right now. Tough loss for them. Denver also struggling. I don't know, man. This should be a good one. What's your take there?
The simplistic side of it would tell me that Denver's, well, one, they're the better team, but they're not very good away from home. Although, you know what? I think they have been a little better this year than in previous seasons. Nope, 18-13, just not that great off the road. They have not been playing well. They barely squeaked out a win against Miami or Milwaukee without Giannis, Middleton, Eric Bledsoe, Brook Lopez, and Dante DiVincenzo. Literally, the Bucks' 5 best players didn't play, and they had to take them down to the wire. That's pathetic.
Yeah, so they weren't playing well before that game either. They lost to Cleveland. They lost to Cleveland and Golden State, both two bad teams. They beat Charlotte by 2. So Dallas needs this game more than Denver does too, I think.
Well,
or no.
It's really, really tight.
Dallas is into the 7th seed. I mean,
they could move up.
They could move up, but they could also not care and just sit in 7. They obviously want to move up, but they're not at risk of falling out, is all I'm saying.
Not in the slightest.
So they obviously want to get to 6, like you said, because it's a lot. You'd rather face Denver than the Clippers.
I don't want to face the Clippers in any round, much less the first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm with them. All right, guys, that's what we got for today. Have a good one.
Thanks.